I will be talking about the lack of media representation of Black LGBTQ characters in movies. I decided to research on this topic specifically because growing up, I rarely saw any Black representation on TV. And as rare as it was to see Black people on TV, it was even more rare to see Black LGBTQ members being shown on TV. Which is why I decided to do my own research and understand why they didn't get any media representation. The 1990s is when the LGBTQ community started gaining some representation in movies. During this time period, the majority of LGBTQ characters that were portrayed in movies were portrayed as gay white males. As you can see in all of these movie posters, all these LGBTQ characters are just gay white men. A Studio Responsibility Index, which was published in 2013, showed that there were 101 movies released in 2012. Out of those 101 movies, only 14 of them had some LGBTQ characters. A combined number of 31 LGBTQ characters were found in these movies, and out of those 31, only 4 of them were Black men. The rest were all white men. In the upcoming years, the number of LGBTQ characters increased by a huge margin. The number of Black LGBTQ characters only went from 4 people to 9 people, and then just 12. This shows how underrepresented the Black LGBTQ community really is. Over time, as more movies representing the Black LGBTQ community started releasing, a pattern started to show. This pattern was that the Black LGBTQ men were either represented as extremely feminine or overly aggressive, and there was no in between. Movies and TV series like 6 Feet Under, Moonlight, Noah's Ark, and Engaged are all very accurate examples of overly feminized and aggressive men. Similarly, Black lesbians are only portrayed as either overly sexualized or overly feminine characters. An example of this would be in the show Riverdale. Toni Topaz, a Black lesbian, is always shown in very sexual and revealing clothing and is looked at as an erotic object as opposed to a human. She's often seen using her body to get the things that she wants. Another example would be in the show Set It Off. Ursula is also shown as an erotic object. She's overly sexualized and misrepresented. In the same show, Cleo is also a Black lesbian, but she's represented as very masculine and overly aggressive. This shows that there is no middle ground for Black LGBTQ characters. Additionally, Black LGBTQ characters are shown as drug users or gang members or so-called thugs. They're always seen doing violent acts or abusing drugs. This representation is what causes society these days to find Black people abusive and violent. Although the representation of Black LGBTQ characters has changed a lot over time, they're still underrepresented. They're still given roles that portray them as bad people. So we need to think to ourselves, why can't Black LGBTQ characters be represented as humans? Why do they have to be an exaggerated version of a bad characteristic? Why do they have to be under or misrepresented? Why can't they just be seen as much as white LGBTQ members?